Okay, good morning. Thank you everybody for being here today. My name is Captain David Angelo. I'm the division commander over the Special Victims Division. And one of my units incorporates the Child Sexual Assault Unit. Today we're here to talk about the arrest and investigation of Brandon McIlvaine, who was the KIPP counselor off of Lawndale Road. Before we begin going into the details of the investigation, first I want to thank several agencies who were instrumental in us expediting this investigation and bringing this individual to justice, who is currently charged and in the Victoria County Jail. First, our Children's Assessment Center and their entire staff for accommodating us and expediting the forensic interviews for our victims in this case. The Harris County District Attorney's Office, led by Joanne Music, who is the chief of the Sex Crimes Unit, for providing dedicated district attorneys for us to present our charges to. Third, I'd like to thank our HPD, Major Offenders Division, for coordinating the both arrests of Mr. McIlvaine in Victoria, Texas, in Victoria County. I'd also like to thank the U.S. Marshal Service for dedicating agents for going down to Victoria and taking Mr. McIlvaine into custody and booking him into the Victoria County Jail. And finally, I'd like to thank my investigators from the Special Victims Division for their tireless efforts in investigating these cases, which we'll talk about shortly. So what I'd like to do right now is introduce Lieutenant John Colburn, who is the lieutenant over the Child Sexual Assault Unit, and will provide some details regarding the cases Mr. McIlvaine is currently charged with, along with additional investigations we're currently conducting.
Yeah, good morning. So we currently have three charges at this time. All three are indecency with a child. Age ranges from 7 to 11 years old. Let me pull up some notes real quick for you. The first case came in to us on September 26th of this year. The other two cases both came in October 17th of this year. The first arrest was made on October 18th, 2017, and the second arrest was made October 26th, 2017. So all three are indecency with a child charges. We have some additional cases that we are looking into. We can't give the details on how many or what those cases involve at this time, but I just know that we are following up on some additional investigations at this time. And you guys have any questions about my part of this?
I'm sorry, I might have missed it. There are two arrests, but it was one individual. Two different charges? Is that
one individual, 3 charges, 3 different victims. Okay.
You mentioned 2 arrests.
We have 2 arrests. So he was arrested the first time. His first arrest was October 18th, and then a second charge was filed after that, and therefore he was picked up. And then since then we have a third charge, all 3 indecency with a child.
Okay. And all these assaults happen at that school? Or
Yes, sir. They all happened at the school.
And how can people contact you if they know that something happened to their kids? Or what did you suggest for the parents to tell the kids or to talk to them?
So you can call our main number. You guys have the number handy.
308-1180.
308-1180 is our main number. They can call that number if they need 713-308-1180. They can, if they need additional information or if they want to report, they can call that number. I want to let Joanne, ADA Music, say some words.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here this morning. This is, one of those sad events where we have to come together and inform the community about what's going on. These officers have done a tremendous effort, put in a great effort and done a tremendous job of putting this case together in a very short time. The unique part about this case rather than other cases is that we have so many victims coming forward. We know this was a person involved in the school district, involved at KIPP Academy. He had access to many children. So we are asking for your help. We're asking for the public's help in coming forward, letting us know if there are additional avenues that we need to explore, whether those are, incriminating or mitigating, but we need more information. We know that this individual had access to a great number of children through his experience with the school district, and I believe he coached some softball as well. So there, we're asking people to come forward and give us what you have. In this case, we're looking at already 3 charges of indecency with a child, 3 separate victims that came forward independently, separate from one another, and said, hey, there's something wrong here. These instances came forward because parents had the courage to step up and say, you know what, something's wrong here. And that's what we're asking parents to do in these types of cases. You need to talk to your children, be aware, understand what's happening, know when they're pulled out of class, know when they're sent to the principal's office, know when they're sent to the nurse's office, know if they're sent to the counselor's office, know if they're asked to stay after school and speak to a teacher or a coach or anyone in the school district, anyone involved in extracurricular activities. You're the parents in the position to know your child the best. Pay attention, talk to them, listen to them. I want to give a little plug to the Children's Assessment Center, who's been a great partner in this. They also provide for parents and for educators free classes on what you should know as a parent, how to talk to your child, how to monitor their social media, how to monitor their cell phones. Pay attention to what's going on with your child. And again, in this particular case, we're looking for we're asking the public for your help if there's any additional facts that are out there, any additional victims, to please come forward, give HPD a call, give our office a call, the district attorney's office, and we're happy to help you. The district attorney's office, we can be reached at 713-274-0150. We'll be happy to take that information as well. We'll obviously funnel that to the Houston Police Department to continue their investigation. Just another quick note: this year in the legislature, we increased penalties for educators who fail to report child abuse. Unfortunately, this is happening more and more. We're having more and more cases that come out of our schools. Those are public schools, private schools, they're middle schools, elementary schools, high schools. We're seeing them everywhere. And so our legislature has created enhanced felony penalties for educators who fail to report abuse that's going on in their school. So we take this very seriously. We prosecute these cases aggressively, and Mr. McElveen will have his day in court as soon as he gets to Harris County. He's still in Victoria, but once he arrives here, we expect to see him in court, and we'll go from there and see exactly how this case shakes out. Thank you so much.
Can I get your name?
Joanne Musick, JoanneMusick.
And your title?
I'm the Division Chief of Sex Crimes Division at the Harris County District Attorney's Office.
How long had he been with KIPP, and how far back do you think this could go if somebody had graduated and might not have said anything?
I don't have all the dates, but yeah.
2011.
So he was with KIPP since 2011. He was hired June 8th of 2011.
So I guess you're maybe asking people who might have already graduated by now. That could go that
Absolutely,
far
could go back that far. He could.
And I apologize if this question already been asked. Have you guys specified how you would actually get the victims to leave class or pull them out?
He had access, as the school counselor, he had access to the children, so he could check them out of class, and for various reasons, that was his job as the school counselor, to be able to interact with kids.
And as far as you know, were all the victims at this point, did he allegedly victimize them all by checking them out of class and doing what he allegedly did?
As far as we know, that they all occurred in a similar manner, checking them out of class, take them to his office.
Did he threaten them to not speak, or how did he?
I don't have any verification of that at this time.
Are the victims females?
I can't divulge that at this time.
And so he didn't try to lure them, as far as you know, as far as you guys know, in other ways, like when he was away from school, whether it's like handing out candy or like sort of other things.
So no, he was very active at the school. He was a very active member of the community. He's very trusted, very liked. He didn't require him to have to lure him in that sense as a typical predator would. So he befriended not only the kid but the family, the trust of the parents. So he was able to what term we use is grooming. He groomed not only kids but the parents, and that he gained their trust so that he could have access through that way.
And as far as you know, did all these crimes occur during like the school day then?
As far as I'm aware.
And did nobody sort of say, hey, why is he checking out these kids?
Nobody suspected anything, just based on his his reputation with the school and the community.
And all these incidents did happen on campus, is that what you said?
As far as I know.
And so the initial, what broke the case open was one child crying forward?
We had one outcry, and from there that led us to multiple cases.
And can you describe to us like some of the interaction you guys have had with parents since then? You've had meetings on campus. Is there any cultural language barriers that might prevent more folks from coming forward?
No. We have our investigators speak Spanish. There's interpreters at the school as well for any kind of meetings they have. So there's no barrier as far as the language goes.
Are you amazed that he was able to get away with it this long? I mean, if it does go back, if you do find more cases.
Well, it's certainly troubling, but at the same time, I mean, this is if someone is interested in grooming the children, grooming the parents, that's the way that they interact. So.
And I'm sorry, in the press release it said he was employed since 2009. Is the press release mistaken?
I do not know. I just know that we have 2011.
Okay.
That's what we have.
So, and then the age range of the children?
You can say they're between the ages of 7 and 11.
When did the other two cases came up?
When did they come up?
Yes.
So they were both reported on October 17th of this year.
Do you feel like parents should feel comfortable sending their children to KIPP?
I can't answer that question. Sorry, I wouldn't be able to judge the situation with a parent.
Has KIPP been cooperative?
Yes, they have.
It just seems sort of, as you said, he was very out there, right? He's been covered in the media. He's got like social media accounts, and it's all like Mr. Matt, it's all great and everything. It just seems like it's such a I don't know, shock or.
Yeah, well, he gained their trust, and so anyone who was around him for a period of time would trust him. So I mean, he was a trustworthy individual at that time. So.
And there's no previous hints of anything in his past?
Nothing that we can find.
He went to Victoria because his family's from there?
I'm not sure why he went there. I just know that that's where he's at. So.
Is he out, or is he no more?
He was going to see a magistrate this morning, so I don't know what his status is as far as that goes.
Did your office request, what was the,
Well, our office does not set bonds. The judiciary sets the bond. We requested a high bond in this case of $200,000 because we know there are multiple accusations at this point. And what I do know is that because he was arrested in Victoria, he did not appear before one of the magistrates here in Harris County or any of the judges here. He appeared in front of a magistrate in Victoria who set his initial bond. He was released on a $50,000 bond. His cases are pending in the 232nd District Court. I know after having spoken with the court that the judge in the 232nd, Judge Kristen Guinea, had him brought in and set bond conditions prohibiting him from being around children or anyone under the age of 18. But since that time, additional charges came forward, so he has not been back before a magistrate that I know of on the two new charges. But I was told that he may be seeing a magistrate this morning in Victoria.
He's still in Victoria?
He is still in Victoria. On his second arrest, he was again located in Victoria.
So if he sees a magistrate judge down there, does he get brought back up at some point? I mean,
That magistrate will decide whether or not to set a bond, and then if he does not set a bond and he stays in custody, obviously he'll be extradited back to Harris County to appear before a judge here. If he is released on bond, the court will order him to appear here, probably for additional bond conditions or at least to check in.
If I can make one clarification, or just to clarify something you asked. Yes, he was arrested on 2 separate occasions. After the first arrest, he was after the first charge, he was arrested on October 18th. We received 2 additional cases the day before on October 17th. He was able to bond out on that first case in Victoria. He stayed in Victoria while we conducted the investigation on the additional 2 cases. After charges were accepted, our U.S. Marshal's Office went down to Victoria and picked him up, I believe, at his parents' house in Victoria. Secondly, KIPP has been cooperative in this investigation, so I want to make sure we get that out there. So as far as what parents are to think, our investigators did meet with the parents and school officials, I believe a week and a half ago, to discuss this case. Third, now you mentioned about
the parents didn't sound pleased.
No, I think it was a pretty contentious meeting from what I was told. I was not there, but I know Officer Keyes and Lieutenant Colburn was there, so they can tell you offline what occurred at the meeting. But lastly, let me just say this. You mentioned something about Spanish speaking. If any families or victims are concerned about reporting this crime because of immigration status, let me guarantee you, we are not going to ask your immigration status. We want you to call us. We have Spanish speakers available. I guarantee you, we will not inquire about your immigration status. If we do, I want you to contact Art Acevedo directly and let them know that your immigration status was contacted. So that's, if we have any Spanish media here, please get that out there to the community and let them know. If your kids are victimized, to please call us and let us know, and I guarantee you we will pick up that case and investigate it thoroughly.
And can you talk a little bit about the contentiousness of that meeting? I mean, I know they wouldn't let the media in, and I think there were some families who maybe felt frustrated that it was sort of like kind of done under. I mean, who made that decision for it not to be technically an open meeting?
Well, that's up to the school. It was, they were conducting the meeting. The parents were very concerned about the situation and information that was released to them, and so that was the main reason they were upset, is they weren't getting the information, or they felt like the trust had been violated, and so rightfully so. They trusted him for years, and so they were upset about that. I mean, as any parent would be upset. It's a hard thing to learn that this has been going on at a school that you've been sending your kids to for years. So, do you think
it would have been easier if they had made it better, if they made it an open meeting, so we could all see what was going on?
I'm not sure, really. I mean, they made the call, and I can't really second guess what their call is at this time. They chose to have it the way that they did. So, but the parents were upset, and it's rightfully so when it's involving your children. So.
These incidents were reported in October, but did they happen in October or by previous incidents?
So they go back. They didn't happen in October, but I can't give you too many details on that. I can just tell you that the grooming process starts early, and the trust is gained on an ongoing basis. So I can't give you specifics on how far back they go, though.
In your career, you've seen these patterns. Your fear is that there are others out there.
Absolutely. My fear is that someone that has been a victim is there's many more, is what I fear, and my main concern is the victims coming forward and making the report. So we wanted to encourage everyone to do that.
And the position he was in, to have access to the children.
Absolutely. That's what makes us believe that there could be more victims, and he had access to the children and in his position. So we feel like there could be more.
Any other questions?
Did you also know your name?
Oh, so my last name is spelled Colburn. I'm Lieutenant John Colburn.
Captain David Angelo, Angelo.